Out of your mouth, you wish you were someone else. I miss you, but I know we miss your old self too. Forever once golden, there's only so much holding on. You can't take when your mind's at stake. Oh wait, do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart to rest. I'll keep waiting as long as it takes. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Some things I can't fix feels heavy on your chest. I wish I could carry the weight all on my back. Colors now faded. There's only so much hoping that I can't do, but I'd rather lose than lose you. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart to rest. I'll keep waiting as long as it takes. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Out of your mouth, you wish you were someone else. I miss you, but I know we miss your old self too. Forever once golden, there's only so much holding on. You can't take when your mind's at stake. Oh wait, do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart to rest. I'll keep waiting as long as it takes. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Some things I can't fix feels heavy.
Hello everyone. So the workshop is officially starting now. We will wait for another 5 minutes and wait for everyone to join in.
Out of your mouth, you wish you were someone else. I miss you, but I know you miss your old self too. Silver once golden, there's only so much holding on. You can't take when your mind's at stake. Oh wait, do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart to rest. I'll keep waiting as long as it takes. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Some things I can't fix feels heavy on your chest. I wish I could carry the weight all on my back. Colors now faded. There's only so much hoping that I can't do, but I'd rather lose than lose you. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart to rest. I'll keep waiting as long you wish you were someone else. I miss you, but I know we miss your old self too. Forever once golden, there's only so much holding on. You can't take when your mind's at stake. Oh wait, do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you. You gotta do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart to rest. I'll keep waiting as long as it takes. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Some things I can't fix feels heavy on your chest. I wish I could carry the weight all on my back. Colors now faded. There's only so much hoping that I can't do, but I'd rather lose than lose you. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you. You gotta do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart to rest. I'll keep bleeding as long as it takes. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again.
So, hello everyone, I am Oshika and I'm going to be the host for today's session. Firstly, I want to thank all of you for joining in on today's workshop series on creating Instagram and Facebook filter with SparkAR. And my special thanks to our media partner XoRphilic. Before we begin, I'd like to request all of you to join our Telegram and Discord servers. We would use these platforms to communicate and connect with you all, and all the doubts regarding the session will be brought up over there. So please join these servers for easy communication. The links to join are given in the description below. And as they say, please do channel subscribe the channel, like and share. Also hit the bell button for further notifications. So let's start with the first agenda of today's session. What is extended reality or XR? For this, I would like to invite Vivek, who is the founder of XoRphilic, to shed some light upon this topic. So, handing over to you, Vivek.
Hi everyone, hope all of you are doing well. So let me just share my screen. Ashika, can you confirm me if my PPT is visible? So hi everyone. So yeah, this is me, Vivek. You can connect to me on my LinkedIn and via my Gmail. So let's get down on the topic of today. What is XR? What is XR? And why are we even talking about it? What does it mean? What does it? How does it make sense in today's workshop session? So XR stands for extended reality. Wait, even you all people will be thinking like, wait, why it's XR then? It should be ER, right? But no, XR is an umbrella term which you use for AR, VR, and MR. So basically, what X is, it's a placeholder for the letter V, A, and M. When we put V over there, it becomes virtual reality. When we place A over there, it becomes augmented reality. And when we place M over there, it becomes mixed reality. So let's go through all of them one by one. Augmented reality. So what is augmented reality? So if I say you in layman's term, as the name itself suggests, augment. So basically you are changing. But what are you changing? You're changing your reality. You're augmenting your reality. And how you're doing that? So you do that via putting 3D generated computer models. So basically what happens is this. With the power of AR, you can have this cute little panda sitting in your living room eating his favorite bamboo. And it's just not it, okay? This panda or this particular thing that you are seeing in your space is a 3D model. So you can go at any extent. You can go around it, you can rotate it, or you can go on the side and view it from any angles or any way you want it. You can even do some other features like gesture feature, like if scale it up, scale it down, and so yes. What next? So before moving to the other themes VR and MR, I want to do a fun little exercise. So what's that? For that, I want all of you to take out your phones and keep it in your hand. But before I go into it, I want to ask you a thing. So my question will be for all of you is, what's your favorite cutest animal? So, well, I will tell you mine, but first I want to know what's your favorite cutest animal. So you can drop down your answer on the live comments over there. So Aishra, can you just tell me some of the feeds that you are getting on over there?
Not says cute. Then someone is saying cat, which is also my personal favorite. Then someone is saying panda. Then we are getting cats a lot. Red panda, rabbit. Okay, so we are getting various answers. But I guess cat is topping the list.
That's cool. I even love
Yeah.
cats. Are you getting some interesting answers over there?
Someone is saying dinosaurs. They find dinosaurs as cute. Okay.
Wow.
Then we are getting golden retriever. That is dog.
Yeah,
Okay. So
I really like that dog, golden retriever.
yeah. So then someone is saying crocodile.
Crocodile. Okay.
Yeah.
Dinosaur family guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I will go for a T-Rex. If it would be the opposite of cutest, but yeah. So, let's move to my answer. So, my answer will be panda. Yes, this cute, cuddly, lazy little panda was lying on this chair. And high five to all of them who said panda. So, moving it to our exercise. So, what I want you people to do is follow this particular video. So, first of all of you search giant pandas on your phone. There, you will see this particular button, View in 3D. I want all of you to press this button. The moment you will press it, it will take some loading time, and after that you will see this particular screen where you have this cute cuddly little panda eating his bamboo. From there, I want you to press on this particular button which says View in your space. So once you press that, you will get this. You will get a message which will ask you. So it will ask you for your camera access, right? And the moment you will press or you will allow it, you will have your cute cuddly little panda sitting over there in your living room. Let me repeat this video once again if some of you guys missed it. And yeah, whoever got it, just comment in our comment section #cute panda. So yes, view in your space. Scan your floor. Technically, it's trying to find a good spot so your panda can sit calmly. Let me play it once more. So, Ashika, are we getting some hashtags? Some cute little panda hashtags?
Yeah, till now we have four or five hashtags with cute panda.
Okay. So, we'll wait for our other guys. So, if you guys are facing any trouble, you can drop down on the chat section, or even you can ping us on our Discord channel. Our moderators are over there and they will help you. So, Ashika, what about you? What's your favorite cutest animal?
My personal favorite is cat. I love cats a lot. I
Oh,
find them
cool.
small, fluffy, and cute.
Well, I like Persian cats. They are really fluffy.
Yeah. So I guess now we have more than 30 hashtags on cute panda.
Cute panda rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, then. I think it's time to move on to our next part, virtual reality. So, right now you heard about augmented reality. Now you have virtual reality. Now, what is virtual reality? When I was explaining you augmented reality, I told you we bring 3D computer generated objects in your real realm, right? But in virtual reality, I teleport you, I I put you in a simulated environment where you are cut off from all other senses and you just enjoy the new real world for you. Allow me to demonstrate you with this video. So as you can see over there, this guy, so my friend Rahul is playing this particular game over here. So as you can see there, he's wearing this head mounted display. So in our terminology, we used to call them HMDs, head mounted displays. Along with that, he has these controllers over there. He's holding this controller and with the help of them, he's manipulating those scenes. For example, over here, he grabbed this particular gun with the help of his controller and then put it on his side. So this is virtual reality. This guy has no sense of whatsoever is happening around his real world. He's completely immersed inside a new world and enjoying it. And I can see he's enjoying it a lot. Okay, so now we know about AR. Now we know about VR. But next thing, what's the difference between them? Like, okay, sir, AR take it, VR take it, but how, like, what is the difference? What is the prime objective of each of them. So when we talk about AR, okay, when we talk about AR, we are putting some 3D object in your real realm. Let me repeat. You are putting some 3D computer generated objects in your real realm, while in virtual reality, I am putting you inside a virtual realm. So as you can see over there, this guy just put his HMD over here and he's teleported to this simulated environment, and he can be anything over there. Right now he's a ninja, and I think he's enjoying it a lot being a ninja. Wherever in virtual reality, you put some context in your real realm, and then you interact with it. Either you can interact with it, it can be real time, uh, it can be a motion graphic, it can be anything. Okay, the way you want to make it or the way you want to present it. So that's just the basic difference between it. And one more thing, in for VR, you need a head mounted display which a guy can wear over here. While as in AR, you don't need anything like this. Your phone, your handheld phone is just sufficient enough for the whole thing. So moving next in our topic, we have mixed reality. Now this is a bit interesting thing. So I won't define what is it. I won't say anything about it. I'll first show you a video. So this video is I'm directly streaming it from Microsoft HoloLens YouTube channel. So what you are seeing over here is a head mounted display which this gentleman is wearing over there, and he was seeing a 3D model in his real realm. Okay, so as you can see over here, this guy is seeing AR stuff in his real environment, in his real realm. Plus he's wearing this thing, and that is why it is mixed reality, right? So if you remember, if you go back to our session, I told you that one of the major differences, like you're wearing a head mounted display in VR, whereas in AR you are using a handheld device, right? But here, although you are wearing a head mounted display, but you are seeing things in AR, and that's why it's mixed reality. So back in 2016, when HoloLens was first released from Microsoft, so they came up with this term mixed reality, where the guys wear this glasses, the AR glasses, and like not particularly AR glasses, so these glasses, this mixed reality glasses, and then visualize all this thing over there. So now, right now there are a lot of them in our market, and the best part is even Indian companies are like they are also participating in this thing. You can go and search about geo glasses, you can go and search about Ajna lens. So these are some of the Indian contributors to this XR industry, whereas there are other glasses apart from HoloLens such as Magic Leap One and others too, who are coming, who are really giving a new dimension to this XR industry. So let's move next. So okay, Vivek, XR is okay, AR is cool, VR is awesome, MR is out of the world. But we are here for SparkAR, right? We all of us are here for SparkAR, right? So what is SparkAR? Where does SparkAR fits? So SparkAR fits in the category of handheld mobile devices. So our your mentor, your instructor, Dipan, will make you make some really cool AR filters, which we in our terms call augmented face augmentation, basically, where he will make some cool little filters on your face, and again will make you. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a panda or what, but yeah, he will again make you put some 3D object in your real. So this is what Spark AR comes in. As the name itself says, it's come in the domain of AR, and in particularly mobile handheld AR devices. So yeah, at this particular slide, I founder of XoRphilic, would like to thanks all of you for participating in this event. We, being the media partner, will try continuously to add values to this session. Will bring industrial leading person to this particular session where they will tell their user journey, where they will tell how they did it and what they did it. uh, Coming in the session ahead, we will have Sanchit Sharma, who is going to tell you his awesome journey about Bladers AR. And again, in the next session, and like in the 31st session, we are going to again have a industrial VR demo where we're going to show you how things really work in the industry and how cool, how stuff can really be cool in those aspects. Okay, so we will try to continuously add values over there, and at the end of the session, which I mean at the end of the workshop, we XoRphilic has a surprise for you that we will reveal on the third day of this particular session. So please stay tuned. So yeah, back to Aishika.
Okay. So I would like to thank you, Vivek, for such an awesome discussion on this topic, and huge thanks to XoRphilic. Okay, so as you have seen, this was quite an interesting discussion. I am sure most of you must have been so fascinated. So now, without wasting any further second, let's move on to the primary agenda for today's session, which is creating Instagram and Facebook filters with SparkAR. So for this, I would like to call upon Dipayan, who is the official campus ambassador for SparkAR and also who is going to be the instructor for this workshop series. So over to you, Dipayan.
Thank you, Ashika. So I hope my screen is visible. So I'll start a little by telling about myself. I am Dipayan Chaudhary. I'm the official campus ambassador for SparkAR, and today I will be taking your session and teaching you the fundamentals of SparkAR. So these are just a few details about me, my LinkedIn ID and my Instagram. You can follow me there. I post some filters on the Instagram, and I'm also a 3D modeler, so I post my 3D art on there as well. So without wasting any time, let's start with the SparkAR. So this is what we will be doing today, week one. Today is the week. Today marks the start of the week one. So I'm telling you about SparkAR. I will be teaching you about the basics of SparkAR, and you will be using the entire week to work on the assignment that I will be giving you. It will be a basic assignment. There's no need to worry about it. I will show you the assignment which I made for the same assignment, and I will also share some resources which you can use in that assignment, so it will be easy for you. And I know that some of you are here just for the bags and the certificates, and I respect that, but you still have to know how to make a filter to be able to submit a filter so you get the bag and the certificate. So for the session one today, first we will go through the overview of SparkAR. Then we will look at designing and concepting for augmented reality. Then we will go for types of trackers, which are face tracker, plane tracker, target tracker, and hand tracker. Next thing we will look at is types of segmentation. There are three types of segmentation in SparkAR. We have person segmentation, hair segmentation, and skin segmentation. After that, we will look at the project configuration, the terminology we use in SparkAR, the types of objects, types of materials, and then we will look at adding logic and interaction, because if you have seen, clearly you have seen Instagram effects, you know that a lot of them are interactive. You tap or you smile or you wink and something happens. You have AR filters, like for example, you tap on the screen and an animation starts playing. So everything like that requires logic. So we will look at how to add such logic. And also finally, we will look at the data types in SparkAR. And after that, there will be a small break. And after that, I will talk about your assignment and I will tell you how to submit the assignment as well. So you might be thinking, why am I eligible to teach you about SparkAR? I'll tell you why, because I started doing SparkAR about 2 years ago, and I participated in a all India hackathon in SparkAR, which was judged by UNICEF and Facebook, and I was one of the finalists in that. So I believe I have enough knowledge to teach you about SparkAR. And also I have freelanced with SparkAR. That's one possibility. Some of you might be thinking that why should we learn SparkAR just to make filters on our own accounts and that's it. But no, you can actually freelance with SparkAR, and the clients, they are a lot of clients are willing to pay quite a lot of money for a simple effect as well. So yeah, once you are a, let's say, really experienced with SparkAR and you have marketed yourself well, you can actually freelance. I will talk more about this probably in the third class. So basically, yeah, you can freelance. And also for the people who are trying to grow on Instagram, you might know that with Instagram posts, almost all of your posts have to be high quality for you to grow on Instagram. But you can choose this path where you can create a account for which shares filters for people to use. And the thing with filters is that even if you post 20 filters and just two of them do really well, your account is still going to grow because people are going to come to your account to use those two filters again and again. So with that out of the way, I will start with SparkAR, and we will start with the overview. I will open the SparkAR on my system. So I hope that you can see this is the basic SparkAR. Oishika, if you can please remove my video from this screen so that bigger, because I think the font is a little small and I cannot change it. There is no setting to change the font size. So if you can please remove my video or turn it off. Okay, so I will start. This you can see as the basic interface of SparkAR. This is an empty project. You can see that it is untitled. Nothing has been done here yet. This is a demo video playing of the guy. When you create a filter, it will show here how it will look when a real person uses your filter. So let me start by telling you all the what everything on screen is, because it might be looking a bit intimidating because there's a lot of information. So to start with, this is the scene panel. Here, everything that is in your scene is shown. For example, if I put something here, let's say I put a rectangle. There's a rectangle in the scene, and now there's a rectangle in the scene panel as well. So this is the place where you see everything that's on the scene. I'll remove that. Now just on the right side of the scene panel, you have the layers panel. People who are experienced with 2D graphics here, you already know what layers are. SparkAR layers are quite similar. We will not be needing to talk about layers today, but I will be telling you about layers. It is basically to layer the stuff. For example, you have two rectangles and you want one rectangle to be shown on top of the other rectangle in your effect. You would put the rectangle that's on the top on a upper layer. So you can create more layers by adding layer, but we wouldn't be needing that today. So I'll remove those. And these are the two panels. Right under that, you can see that there's an asset panel. So while making effects, you might put 3D models in there, like Vivek showed. He showed a 3D model of a panda. That was not SparkAR, but you can still create that effect using SparkAR. So you would put the asset here, and from here you will put it in your scene. Yeah, so you can add assets from your computer, import from computer. You can have texture animation, color alerts. You have animation sequences, a lot of things here. One important thing I want to tell you is that we have an AR library in SparkAR. So let me open this is the, you can open the AR library from here or from here. Let me open it. Here you can see the AR library, and what the AR library is basically a bunch of free assets for you to use. So let's go to 3D objects. You can see there's a lot of 3D objects there. Animals here. I'm sure you can find Vivek can find a panda if he searched here. You can find many pandas if you searched here, and you can choose one to your liking. There's food, and there's glasses, there's plants, and a lot of things. But one thing with these models are that these are all hosted on Sketchfab. Sketchfab is a website where you can upload 3D models. So to use these models, you will have to have a Sketchfab account and link it to your SparkAR. But SparkAR also has some basic 3D models for free, which you don't have to go to Sketchfab for. I'll import one just to show you. Let's take this star primitive, and you have to click on import free, and it will show up in your assets. You can close the AR library. Now we can see that there's a star here, and when you click on the star, you see something pops up on this side of the on the right side of the screen. This is the properties panel. Whenever you bring something, when you click on something on either the scene panel or the asset panel, the properties of the object are shown in the properties panel. Now let's bring the star in the scene. You can see that there's a star now on the screen. I will change the color of the material so it's a bit more visible. Let's make it golden. So we will make it 100% metallic. We will reduce the roughness to, let's say 9% is fine. We'll give it a nice golden color. So here is our golden star. And if I click on it, you can see in the properties panel that I see its position 0, 0, 0, its scale which is 1, 1, 1, and its rotation which is again 0, 0, 0. One quick tip, not really a tip but like a factoid, is that these measurements, the position measurements, are in meters. I did not know this for the longest time while using SparkAR, but it's not even necessary to know that, but I got to know it from the documentation, and I think it's pretty cool that they have a specific real world uh, unit to be used within SparkAR as well. So that's in meters, and this is basically the entire overview of the SparkAR software. The next thing we have is the SparkAR Player. Let me look at the PPT. Yes, the SparkAR Player. The SparkAR Player is an app which can be downloaded on your phone. Like you see that there's a small box here where you can see your effect. With SparkAR Player, you can see a lot of stuff. For example, it will show you the FPS of your effect. It will show a lot more details. So you can download, if you start creating effects regularly for Instagram and or Facebook or both, you should download the SparkAR Player app on your phone so you can test your effects. Then we have plugins. We won't be talking in detail about plugins today, but there are a couple important plugins for SparkAR. One plugin is for Blender. Blender is a 3D software where you can create your own 3D models. So if you don't find a panda in the asset library, you can create your own using Blender. So the plugin, what it does is that it reduces the number of face counts, so to speak, on the panda, which in layman's terms means that it simplifies the models, because SparkAR has a limit. See, you have to understand this. When you create an effect and people are able to use it directly from the web, from Instagram or Facebook, that means that the effect is not taking much space. It is very light. So there's a limit of 4 megabytes on SparkAR. So if I make a very complex panda, it is going to be much more than 4 MB. And when I put it in SparkAR, that's not going to be SparkAR is not able to going to make the effect, and even if it does, it won't open on anyone's phone. So the plugin, what basically it does is it simplifies the model enough so that you can use it in SparkAR. We will not be using the plugin today. I just told you an overview of the plugin. There is another plugin for Visual Studio Code. You might choose to script for SparkAR. You can also write code for SparkAR for adding logic. Though I will tell you in a while that for most effects you won't need to write your own code. Even if you're not a coder, you can easily make effects. But if you choose to use Visual Studio Code, there's a plugin for that. Now let's move to types of tracking. Okay, so I will be telling you these by showing you example projects. The first type of tracking is a face tracking. I will show you how to add a face tracker. If you select this add object, or you just right click here and go to add object, you can see a face tracker. Select that and it will automatically add the face tracker on the your SparkAR Studio. And what this is doing is that it is tracking everything that's happening on this person's face. Now, if you want to add something which goes with the face, for example, let's say that we want to add the star and we want it to move with the face. So what we will do is we will make the star a child of the face tracker. What that means is that we will pick it and drag and drop it inside the face tracker. Now you can see that the star is connected to the face and it's moving with the face. So that's the face tracker, and you can do a lot more things with face tracker. This is a really simple thing. You must have seen effects like the effect which was really popular when AR filters started to become popular was the dog face effect. You have two small ears on the top of your head and a tongue comes out. So that is done with face tracker. The face tracker is tracking where the person's mouth is and using that information so that it can place the tongue correctly. It is tracking where the person's head is so it can place the ears correctly. It tracks a lot of things. Let me show you. I'll open something known as the patch editor. Now, just a minute ago, I was saying that you don't need to code in SparkAR, but then you might be wondering, how do you add logic if you don't code? See, the thing is SparkAR is that you have a patch editor. This is a form of visual scripting. Visual scripting is where you don't have to code, but you can add certain blocks and they will work as the code for you. So you don't have to write code, you have to just know the logic, and you can see a list. You don't even have to remember all of these things which are shown here. You can just open the list every time and find whatever you need. So why I showed you this is that I will show you what the face tracker is capable of. I picked up the face tracker and dragged and dropped it in the patch editor, and you can see it created 3 patches. This as a whole is known as a producer patch, all the 3 patches together, because it produces a signal. Okay, so we have face here, and when I take out face, I can look at these are all the options I can connect it to. So let's look at face landmarks. So there are a lot of landmarks. You can put stuff on your cheek, on your chin, on your eyeballs, on your eyebrows, your eyelids, your forehead, your mouth, your nose. So, and even when you select these on the right side, you can see that there are even more. SparkAI is going even more into detail. For example, if you select nose, you can place it on nose tip, left nostril, right nostril, bridge of the nose. If you select mouth, you can see upper lip center, lower lip center, or the left corner or the right corner. So it tracks a lot of things on your face, so you can have really interactive effects. So we'll select nose, and to create the patch for the star, we will, what I'm basically doing is placing the star on the nose. Wait, it's already on the nose. Let's select something else. The star is already on the nose because it is placed in the middle of the face by default, and the nose happens to be on the middle of the face. So that's why. Let's select chin, add patch, and then from this star, when you select the star, on the right side in the properties, you can see these properties. What we need is the position property. When you look at the left side, just at the left side of the word position, you see a small arrow, and when you hover your mouse over it, it becomes yellow. What it means is that if you click on this arrow, it will create a small patch for the position, and you can adjust the position through the patch editor, through the logic which you put here. So let's add that. We will connect this, and now you can see that the star went on the chin. What this entire patch is doing, I will explain it to you. This is the producer patch, which was created using the face tracker. The face tracker is returning the position of the face, and from that we connected the chin patch, which is giving you the position of the chin, and it is giving you 3 values: the x value, the y value, and the z value. Because your chin lies in 3D space, it's not 2D. If you go back the chin, if you go back away from the camera, the star also has to become smaller. So it will be handled by the all the three 3D coordinates. So that's the face tracker. Something I should mention here is that you can, if you click on this video icon here, you can add your own camera through the HPSD. Mine is the HPSD camera. Whatever your web camera is, it will appear here, and if you click here, it will show your face in this window. I cannot do it right now because my video is being used in the live stream, even if my camera might be off, but SparkAR won't read it right now. Also, you have different kinds of simulations here, like pre-recorded videos. So if you don't like this guy, if you think that maybe you need an effect which you're making for a girl, to be used by girls only, or maybe your effect has changes, you want to see what how it changes according to skin color of people or the hair size of people, so hair length of the people, so you can select different people here. Sometimes some things like that also happen, that all these people have different facial bone structures. So if you're making, for example, let's say the dog face effect, the effect might be working perfectly for this guy's face, but when you go to this next person, her face is a little smaller, so maybe the ears are not placed correctly on her face. So you can do the minor tweaks and adjust through here. And there's a lot of people here, and also just a plane if you're making an effect for the world. And you can also add your own videos here from the internet. I have added some I found on the internet. This I added for when I make filters for two people, two faces at one time. And if the filter is for someone who is dancing and being dynamic, you must have seen filters on reels, people dancing on by using filters. So for that I have added this video, and just like that you can add a lot of videos. There's I don't think there is a limit. There must be, but it's you can add a lot of videos. Yeah, I saw someone with like around 20 more videos here, so you can customize it according to yourself. So we will be using this person, or yeah. So that was the face tracker for you. The next kind of tracker that we have on SparkAR is the target tracker. So for that I will use a template. Now what is a template? When you go to new file, or when you open SparkAR in general, you will see that there are a lot of templates. Templates are basically the most popular kinds of effects. SparkAR has templates for all of them, so you get a head start in making them. You don't have to do the same repetitive tasks again and again by creating a new folder from scratch. So they have a lot of templates here. Now you might want to start projects from scratch because you might want to have more control over your projects, but like if you're making just a simple effect, and then you can use any of these trackers, whatever you find works. For target tracking, we will go to world object template. Give it just a second, my laptop is a bit slow, it's 4 years old now. I'm just happy that it hasn't crashed SparkAI yet, but it will open eventually. Just give it a minute. Yeah, here it is. So you can see that this has changed to the back camera, and this is the video I'm using just to show you how it will look on the world. The template has a random polyhedron here, and it's a placeholder. If you see here on the left side, there's a delete me. I don't think it's visible. Let me maximize. Yeah. So there's a drag here button. There's a delete me button. So you will basically delete this thing and put your own stuff here. And if you open the patch editor, you can see that there's a lot of there's a lot of patches here. If you once you understand patch editors and logics, you just go through it once, you will see that none of this is complex. It just looks intimidating because there are so many lines and boxes. But yeah, so what basically happened is you opened a template, so this all is already done for you. SparkAR thought that when you are making a world object, you are going to have to do all this logic anyway for the most of the cases. So why not just make a template which already has all of it, so you don't have to do it again and again. Okay, so that's the
Hello, Dipayan.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have a question on the live chat. It's from Gunjan. She's having some trouble with the face tracker. She's saying, I don't see the face tracker in mine. So, can you help with that?
I think that we should take the Q&As. You can please, Shika, please note down the questions. I will take them at the end of the session, or I will take them on Discord if we don't have time at the end of the session.
Okay, sure.
For specific doubts, I will clear it up for everyone. There's no need to worry.
Okay,
But I
sure.
don't think
Thank
we
you.
should break the flow. I'm sorry,
Okay, sure.
Gunjan. I will tell it to you later. Okay, so yeah, continuing. This is the world tracker, and in this mock mobile view, you can also select a button here which says simulate touch. What this does is it simulates touch. What it says, when you select this and you click somewhere, it will simulate what will happen when you click on your device. So you can see while I'm touching that it is actually placing it on the ground and not just anywhere. If I click on this sky, nothing happens because there is no plane on the sky. If I select some other video, say this person, and I click it, it's Spark is trying to find a plane, but it's not working very well because obviously this person is not a plane. The target tracking is done for this back camera. So that is target tracking. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I made a mistake in the terminology. This is plane tracking. Since we are tracking planes, this is not target tracking. I'm extremely sorry for the confusion in terminology. This is plane tracking. Now we will start target tracking. Target tracking is basically, I will close this one. Extremely sorry for the confusion. Target tracking actually has a target. We will pause this. I'm not sure I will be able to show it to you here because it is easier to see on the phone. But basically what happens is you upload an image on SparkAR and you tell SparkAR that it's a target, and you make an animation. For example, you tell SparkAR that whenever someone shows you this picture on the Instagram or Facebook camera, you spawn a panda. Let's just go with the panda example because we've been following that. So let's say there's a photo of a panda. You give SparkAR that photo while making the effect. What that basically does is that when the person opens his or her phone and opens the filter on Instagram or Facebook and points at that same image of the panda, no other images, the exact same image that we gave SparkAR while creating the effect, it will spawn a panda or spawn whatever you want it to spawn when you make the effect. So that is target tracking. Target tracker, it basically tracks a target. So I made a target tracker and you can see that something happened on the screen. A rectangle appeared with a checkerboard pattern. In SparkAR, the checkerboard pattern means that there is no texture assigned to this yet. You will put your texture here. For example, we said that when we show an image to SparkAR, it will do something. The effect will do something. So you will put that image here in this checkerboard pattern. How you can do that is you have to first put a rectangle in this, a canvas, and then a rectangle. A rectangle always needs a canvas for it to be there. So basically you will put the image in there, and when the SparkAR sees that image, and I deleted the target tracker by mistake. Yeah, here it is back again. So when you put the image here and you make some patches and add the logic to do whatever animation or the 3D object you want, when you show that image to SparkAR, that thing will happen. I'm sorry I cannot show it here because this is SparkAR and you need a phone for target tracking. So we will move on to the next type of tracker, which is the final type of tracker for SparkAR, and it's known as a hand tracker. Now you can see that the hand tracker is not visible, like it's visible but it's grayed out. I cannot select it here. Why is that? The reason being that hand tracker is not supported on Instagram yet. It is only supported on Facebook. So if I want to make a hand tracking effect, I have to make it only for Facebook. And currently our project configuration is set to both Instagram and Facebook. I'll tell you how to check your project configuration. So basically you go to project and you click edit properties and you get the properties, and here you can see that Facebook and Instagram both are selected. There's also Facebook ads, but it's not selected right now. That's for if you are a agency who wants to run ads on your profile. Most of you won't be needing this. So anyway, if I want hand tracker, I have to remove Instagram and click done. And now when you add object, you can see that hand tracker is available. Hand tracker also, I would have been able to show if I could play my own video here, but since I can't and I don't have a video with hands here, I cannot show it. But it is simple as that. It tracks the hand. It is pretty limited. Currently it doesn't have many features. Like in face tracker you could see a lot of things, like where the chin is, where the nose is, the eyebrows, the right nostril, a lot of detail. But in hand tracker there is not much detail. I don't think there is any detail at all. You just have a hand, and if I put the star in the as a child of the hand tracker, now if I were to place my hand in front of the camera, it would show a star on my hand. That's basically it. Okay, so that was all the type of trackers. And now we have to move at the types of segmentation. Now this is interesting, really interesting, and it is also a little bit more advanced. I would say it's not hard, but like it's a little bit more advanced. I will remove everything from here. So it's an empty project again. Also, please pay attention to the background segmentation part because you will be needing this for your assignment. So for what background segmentation basically means is that have you seen any effects? Please tell me in the comments if you have seen effects in which when you turn on the selfie mode and you show your own face, your background changes. You must have seen it. Like I'm talking specifically on Instagram. This you have done it on Zoom, you have done it on Meets while attending classes. I for one, when I was in third year, I used to put memes in my background in my Zoom while appearing for the exam. So that was fun, and the teacher wouldn't notice generally. So so you that is background segmentation, when you change your background but you are still visible. The image is not covering your face. You don't always need a green screen for that. Earlier it was possible only with green screen, but now it's like you can do it. So you can also make those effects on SparkAR, and it is actually pretty simple. So I will make that effect with you for you, so you can have an idea of how to make that for your assignment as well. We will turn back to both Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so for background segmentation, I need rectangles on my screen. And one thing about any 2D objects, here, these are the 4 2D objects: canvas, rectangle, 2D stack, and 2D text. About these rectangle, 2D stack, and 2D text, one thing you need to know is that there always has to be a canvas first. A canvas basically is the drawing area. Think of it as your sketchbook, like a real life sketchbook you used to have when you were a kid in school. If I told you, if was your drawing teacher and I told you to make a rectangle in your sketchbook, you need to have a sheet. You cannot just have a rectangle anywhere, like just hanging. It doesn't make sense. So that is what the canvas is. It's a blank sheet. It doesn't have anything, but you put other stuff in it. So I will add the rectangle here. And now you can see that there's a small rectangle added on the top right of the screen. This is our rectangle. We can change the size of it from here, from the properties panel. What I want you to do is select on the size and click on fill width and fill height. Why we did this and why we didn't just change the size to like whatever this size is and change the length to height to whatever this height is because we want your effect to be similar on every device. This is the mock device for mock screen for an iPhone 8. Let's say that we go for a bigger device or a device with a different size. You can, let's go with Samsung Galaxy Grand Prime, whatever, Prime VE. I don't know about this phone, but yeah. So the screen size changed. If you select Nexus 9, the screen size is completely different. The proportions are completely different. So when you fill width and fill height, it makes the rectangle relative to the device you're using. Let's go back to iPhone 8. So you need to fill width and fill height on the rectangle, and we will rename this rectangle to background, and we will duplicate this. To duplicate, you just need to do Control plus D. This basically created another rectangle right on the top of our first rectangle, and we will name it user. So these are the two rectangles that we need for the background segmentation. We will give them materials. You can give materials from here. I have selected background and now I click on material. This will automatically add a default material called material 0. One good practice is to always rename your stuff right after you bring it in so that you don't get confused later, because once your project gets really complex and you see a material known as material 0, you wouldn't really know what exactly that is, where it's going. So I'll call this background mat. Background, I spelled that wrong. Yeah, background mat. And I'll give it a, let's say, bluish hue. And I'll create another material for the user. Here you can see that you can select the already made materials you have, but we want a new material, so we will make a new material. And let's keep it like this. Also, if you select on the material, you will see that these are standard materials, shader type standard. What this means is that a standard material is a type of material which reacts to light. When you see here in this scene that there's this kind of a circle thing, and when you click on it, you see that the directional light is highlighted on the scene. So this is exactly what that says, a directional light. It throws light on the effect where the arrows are pointing. So for a standard material, what it means that it will be affected by the light. Now you might want that for some effects, but I want the material to not be affected by light at all. So I will select both my materials by shift select, and I will change the material to flat. Now you can see that it became a lot brighter. What this basically did is, no matter what your light is here, the directional light, no matter what color the light is, how strong the light is, the flat material stays the same. The light doesn't affect it at all. Okay, now back to our background segmentation. For our background segmentation, we need some things from the camera. Here we select on the camera, and here you can see that there are two options: texture extraction and segmentation. We are doing segmentation, so we definitely need segmentation. And we also need texture extraction. Click on that and there's a camera texture in your textures. A camera texture is basically just adding whatever the camera is seeing as a texture to SparkAR. So your face in this case is your face and everything behind. It's not segmented yet. And also you have to add a segmentation. It will ask person, hair, or skin. We are doing person segmentation right now. So here segmentation mask texture 0. We should rename that person seg. All right. And this is the user material. Now what we will do is we will plug the camera texture here So now you can see that the user has the camera texture. It's not visible yet, but the background is also visible. The segmentation has not happened. If the segmentation happened, you would have seen a blue background. For that, we will select alpha and we will select the person segmentation. Now you can see that the blue background has come and the person is also visible. So the segmentation has been done successfully. This is just a demo. You can add anything in the background. You can add a small animation. You can add whatever you want according to the effect you are making. These are the places where you have to let your creativity go wild. Whatever you can think of, you can, as long as it follows the community guidelines for Instagram, it's safe for work, and the basic things. So this is the basic segmentation. And now you can see that there's a, let me zoom it in. This is gentle line around, and it's kind of pixelated around the face. So you can change that. When you click on person segmentation, there are two options. You get two options. You get edge softness and mask size. So you can tweak these here. First, I will show you the mask size. So when I reduce it to like the lowest value possible, it's 0.3 here. So it looks like this. And when I increase it to 10, it goes like this. So this is basically what the amount of part that's been segmented or removed from the background. So you might want this for some, maybe you are creating an effect which there's an aura, uh, and field of energy around the person. Maybe you want something like that. Maybe you are influenced by some anime or something and you want an aura around the person. So you can do it like this. But I will reduce the size of it to here. And this is the edge softness. The thing we were talking about, a bit pixelated, it is because the softness is 100%. If you reduce it to 0%, it will be really sharp like this. But generally, you don't want your background segmentations to be this sharp, because what edge softness does, it creates a bit of continuation between the person and the background. In this case, it is just a flat color, so it doesn't matter. But for example, let's say you were to put a picture of a mountain behind you. So you have to make it believable that you are actually there. So you will have to play around with edge softness and mask size for that. And that is background segmentation. Now there are a lot of, I did this manually. You don't have to do it manually. There's a template for background segmentation. Background, here it is. But I don't like to use it because when I create it this way, it is much more clear to me. I tend to get confused while using the background segmentation template. So if you want, you can use the template, but if not, you know another way. And I will tell you a third way for those persons who are into the logic and interactivity part of it. So I will tell you how to do this same thing with the patch editor. So let's remove the textures from our user material. We'll remove it here and we will shut the alpha. So we are back to square one, no segmentation. Now what you can do is you can drag and drop the camera texture here in the patch editor. You can see that it can give you three types of values: RGB, RGB, and A. RGB means red, green, and blue. These are the channels of any video or image which make up a frame. So this is red, green, blue, and alpha. If you want just red, green, blue, this is the second one. And if you want just alpha, this is the alpha one, the third one. So we take this, we take the person segmentation. It also has the same thing, RGBA, RGB, and A. And we go to the user material. And do you remember I told you that there was these small arrows? If you click on these, it will create a small patch. So here we want the patch for texture because we are changing the texture of the user material. Now what we will do is we will bring the RGBA of the camera texture into a mix patch. This, you can just think of the logic you want and you can find the words you need. I know already that a mix patch exists, but if you didn't know, You should know that you have to mix these two things together. You have to mix the camera texture and the person segmentation to get the segmentation effect. It's a common word, you know, in your mind that you have to mix it. You can just type it in and it will, there's probably a patch for that. If not, you can go through all the patches and find the one which describes what you want to do the best. So we will plug it in the bottom one here and the alpha to the alpha channel, and this goes into the user material, and the same thing happens. It's the exact same effect, but it's a lot. I find this a little bit simpler because there's just like what, 4 patches here. It's not even hard to do. Okay, so that is all about background segmentation. I hope it is very clear to you what background segmentation is. Since you will be needing this for the assignment, I will also be sharing another video, a small video for background segmentation after this session. Let's move on to the different the next kind of segmentation. Let's go back to camera, and here you see that if we select segmentation, there's also hair and skin. Let's go for hair. Now, what is this warning? So here it says that hair segmentation is not supported on Facebook. So if you remember, we know that hand tracking is not supported on Instagram. Similarly, hair segmentation is not supported on Facebook. So if you want to make an effect where you color your hair, you have to make it only for Instagram. So let's remove Facebook. And we have a hair segmentation. I will rename that so I'm not confused later. And I will show you how to do it using the patch editor. It's the same thing what you did with person segmentation, just do with hair. The only difference is that the camera texture arrow will go connect to the upper port. The alpha goes to alpha, and you can see that the hair has become bluish. Let's select someone with a little bit more hair than this person. Let's select this lady, and you can see that it's blue, but it's a weird shade of blue, like it doesn't look like hair. You can change that with the blend mode. So select on the material, the background material, and there's the blend mode. There's a lot of blend modes. You can play around with these and see how these look. If I do add, it is kind of like fluorescent. You can do associative alpha. I think I'm going to do multiply because it doesn't look that bad. It looks like hair because it's a bit transparent and it's there's like a blue hue to the hair. And let's change the color of the hair to, let's say, red. This lady is also this lady's original hair is also very light. Let me change the color to white so you can see the original color. So she's a blonde, so it is easy to change the colors. For example, for Indian people with black hair, if you do hair segmentation effects, it doesn't, the color won't show that prominently because black is a really dark color. So here I've given her red hair. So that's hair segmentation. And we will go for the final type of segmentation here. Again, go to camera, go to segmentation, and select skin segmentation. This will take out this just the skin. I will name this the skin seg. Bring this in, remove the hair segmentation, and plug in the skin segmentation alpha. And you can see that the skin went red because currently this effect, this logic or the patches, what it is doing is it's removing the skin from the camera texture and it's mixing it with the skin basically there's a mask, we call it a mask. It's creating a mask around just the skin and it's segmenting it from the background. So you can change the skin color here if you want to, like make you can make some pretty funky kind of effects from here, even trippy effects. For example, you can add a animation. There's like different types of animation. You can add a loop animation. This is a loop animation, and you can connect it to the texture and you can make it such that the color changes. I won't be doing it here because it will take up time and we only have a limited amount of time. So you can play around with the patches. I actually ask you, like I would suggest you to play around with the patches, see what happens when you connect something with the other things. If you have any doubt about a particular patch, you can ask in the Discord and I will try to reply. Or for a really fast uh, reply or a really fast solution to your doubts, you can go to the SparkAR documentation and look at what a patch does. They have a really nice documentation page, and you can just see what every patch does. Every single one of these, there's a lot of patches, and you can see what every single one of them does on the SparkAR documentation page. So that was the different types of segmentation. Let's see what's next. Okay, so the next is project configuration. Project configuration is simple. I have already told you about it. What it means is that when you are making an effect for a client or for yourself, like I said, I've made effects for clients. The first thing you need to do is make sure what the client wants. For example, let's say that the client wants an effect with a hand tracker. Now you cannot make an effect with a hand tracker for Instagram because hand trackers don't exist on Instagram. So you have to select the project, edit properties, and select Facebook here and remove SparkAR. Remove Instagram. And that is basically what project configuration is. You have to configure the project according to the requirements. And you can see that there are other stuff here. There's capabilities, different kinds of capabilities. One thing I can share here is that you might need to add instructions. For example, you created a effect which works when you open your mouth. Something pops out, a ball pops out of your mouth. Let's say that's the effect. There's an animation. You open your mouth on the selfie camera, and a small ball appears in front of your mouth. So if you make that effect and people are using your effect, they need to know that they have to open their mouth. They won't just know by themselves. They have to see a text on their Instagram or Facebook camera that says open your mouth. So for that, you can add instructions from here. You can add plus and select instructions, and then you can add automatic or custom instructions. The automatic instructions are like find a face, find a hand, or you can add custom instructions, and you can select from here. For example, this here it is, open mouth to start. And then you have to add it in the patch editor as well. So that's basically the project configuration and capabilities. There's also compression and licenses here. Compression, what it basically does is whenever you input an image, I will import an image from my computer just to show you. Yeah, so this is a texture. I have imported it. Now you can see on the right side that it automatically starts compressing. It is compressing it for iOS, for Android, and for older Android. And generally, I would suggest to turn this off whenever you import a new texture because it might create problems. It doesn't always, but it might. And it is better to have a non-compressed image. But if after you have made your effect, let's say that the effect is going above 4 MB, which the image is too, then you have to turn back on the compression, and so that the images don't take as much space. This image is just like 147 KB, so compression is not needed. So this was a texture. I'll show you. Since I've imported this texture for the face, I'll also just show you the face tracking once again. Let's remove the skin segmentation. Let's remove the rectangles in the canvas. I think everyone is clear with segmentation, so I'll remove it. I'll remove all the segmentations and the camera texture from my textures. I'm just selecting them and hitting on delete. Okay, just to show you the texture on the face, I'll add a face tracker again. And under the face tracker, I will add a face mesh. Now you can see that there's a mask on that person's face, and it's checkerboard pattern, meaning that there's no texture on it right now. We will create a new material. Let's call this face mask matte. And here you can see that there's an option to select texture. I will select mustache, and here it is. It's really simple. The only thing that you have to keep in mind while making stuff like this is if you are creating a texture like this on your 2D software like Photoshop or GIMP, if you're getting it from the internet, it's all right. It's probably set to the correct proportions. But if you are making it on GIMP or Photoshop, you will have to keep in mind that it's actually in the right place. The whatever you want to put, like the eyebrows are on the eyebrow, mm, the mustache is on the mustache. For this, I have added a link to download the face assets. If you have seen that in the form, there was a link to add face assets. You just have to click on that, and it will give you a 2D image of the how the how the mesh of the face looks like when it's spread out on a 2D image. So you can use that to reference where to put the eyebrows, the mustache, and all. So that was basically the all the types of trackers and the segmentations, and we are done with project configuration. Now the next thing that we have to talk about is the terminologies. So these are the terminologies while making AR filters. Like I showed you the patch editor. This is the example of patches. So these individual boxes are known as patches. This entire thing, a collection of patches, is known as graph. The small circles are called ports, and when you join two of the ports, that is done with a node. So that is the terminology which is specific to SparkAR, and it's actually also there in other software that use visual scripting. You can also use this kind of terminology on Blender. If you are a 3D modeler, you would know. So the next we go to the types of objects. So basically I showed you a lot of things on SparkAR. Now we are going on the theories of the stuff so you understand what you just saw. So the first type of objects are the scene understanding objects, which is the face tracker, the plane tracker, the fixed target tracker, and the hand tracker. What I mean by scene understanding is that these objects understand the scene. For example, the face tracker understands where your eyebrows is, where your mouth is. The plane tracker understands where the plane is. So these have a, for the lack of better word, like a consciousness, not really a consciousness, but it's programmed into these objects what to look for, and they look for it. Okay, so these are the scene understanding objects. Then you have the 3D objects. A 3D object is any object that has 3 dimensions, the X, the Y, and the Z, or the Z. And these are the different types of 3D objects: the plane, a null object, a 3D object, for example, these sphere, cube, cylinder, pyramid, cone. Then there's the face mesh, which I just showed you. That's also a 3D object. And you can also add 3D text. Then you have 2D objects. So you have the canvas, the rectangle, the 2D text. There was also the 2D stack, which I showed. So like here, it says that the canvas is a container. Like I said, a container for laying out 2D objects. So it's like a sheet and you lay your 2D objects over it. So basically 2D object have two dimensions, the X and the Y. Next we have the lights. There are different kinds of lights. The ambient light, there's the directional light. The directional light works like sunlight. There's the environment light, there's the point light. Let's say that you want an effect in which you want to show that there's a source of light on the top left corner. Let's say there's a bulb on the top left corner. So you will put a point light over there. And finally, there's a spotlight. You can see on the left side that how the spotlight works. It's basically like a spotlight on a stage. Now, one thing to really keep in mind here is as we go down this list, the resources needed to render or to create these lights in a person's phone increases as we go down. So if you are using a spotlight, it is actually a really heavy from the computational side. Your PC requires more resources to make a spotlight than it does to make ambient or directional light. So you have to keep in mind not to add too many spotlights or point lights in your effects, because if you add too many of these lights, it will not work in some of the phones which cannot handle that much of heavy computation, and even if it works on a phone, it might lag. So it is a good practice to try to avoid point and spotlight, but if you really need them in your effect, try to limit to one or two of those. Don't add a lot of them. Finally, we have effects, which is a type of object. So we have the speaker. So if you want to play a sound for your effect, there's a music, light, gentle music playing in the background. So you would use speaker. Just keep in mind, if you are making a uh, effect with music or with textures or with anything outside from SparkAR, the assets in general, make sure that all of those are not copyrighted, because if you use copyrighted stuff in your effect, it will be taken down. So try to find stuff which has a Creative Commons license. For the picture, you can use a website known as Unsplash. And then there's this particle system. It will be used for making any types of particles, like fire, like shown in this effect. You can make smoke, you can make confetti, like there's a happy birthday effect, for example, and when the person, let's say, raises their eyebrows, confetti cannon blows, and the golden color confetti falls from above their head. So that will be done with a particle system. So that are the type of objects. Then we have the types of materials. We have a standard material. Like I said, it is affected by light. We have a flat material which is not affected by light. We have a physically based material. If you remember the star that we placed on the person's nose, I gave that a physically based material, and I made it golden and metallic. So that's a physically based. Physically based means it will mimic a real material according to the properties you give it. Then we have a face paint material, and this is basically just, it adds a little bit of transparency, so it looks like you have painted the texture on your face. And then there's retouching. So when you look at a lot of these popular filters which smoothen your skin and make you look like pretty and change the background and all, everything, that the skin smoothing part is done with the retouching. So if someone wants to make a skin smoothing effect, you would have to use the retouching material on the face mesh. Okay, and the final thing in this is the logic and interaction. You can use the patch editor like I showed you, and this is an example of different kinds of patches. You can also use scripting, but like I said, it's generally not needed. If you choose to do it, JavaScript is the language, but I would say that 99% of the things happen with patch editor. I have used scripting only once. Like I said at the beginning of the class, I participated in a hackathon for SparkAR, and we were the finalists for under UNICEF. So in that effect, what we did is, me and my teammate, we made an effect which was a game. It was a game. We had to control a spaceship with our head, and kind of meteor like objects were coming, and if you hit the spaceship with the meteor, you lose. So there is no logic in SparkAR, as far as I know, to detect when two objects are hitting, like the meteor hits the plane. There is no patch for that, as far as I know, and we did it in like 1.5 year ago. It was, SparkAR was really, it didn't have a lot of things back then. It only had person segmentation. It didn't have a lot of things, so we had to write a script for the collider. So if you're making a really complex effect, you might need to do scripting, but for most 99% of the effects, you do not need scripting at all. Most of it is done on patch editor. And this reminds me that SparkAR gets an update almost every 2 or 3 weeks. We are on version 124, I guess, right now, and a lot of stuff changes. So make sure that you are using the updated version all the time, but at the same time, keep an older version on your computer as well. For example, I'm using version 124 right now, but I also have version 115. Why is that? Because the latest version might have some bugs. One of my friends was saying that version 124 was crashing a lot on his system. So if you are making an effect and it isn't going according to your plans, you can just roll back to a few versions and it will work, and you will be able to upload it to Instagram. But if you go way back, like if you go to version 50, you cannot use those to upload on Instagram. So that's the logic. And finally, we will look at the data types. For data types, we will go to a better place to go is the documentation of SparkAR. It will also teach you where to look for stuff if you go looking for stuff online. So this is the documentation page for SparkAR. I will go to data types. And here are the different types of data types. Firstly, there's the Boolean signal. Uh, the example for it is the mouth open port. So only the upper port. So Boolean signal means it's either true or false. Your mouth is either open or it's not open. So it can only have two values. Then the second type of data type in SparkAR is a scalar. A scalar would be the mouth openness one. So it can have multiple values, but like it has a values over a range. So the mouth openness would have a range of 0 to 1. 0 would be like the mouth is not open at all, and 1 would be it is totally open. So that's a scalar. There's a pulse. A pulse is a one time signal. It just sends a signal one time when a specific thing happens. For example, the head nod patch. When you nod your head, it sends a pulse. Then we have the 3D point and the 2D point. The 3D point has the XYZ coordinates and the 2D point has just the X and Y coordinates. We have color. Just a second. Yeah, we have the color here. You can select the color here. This, you won't find a patch known as color in patch editor. You have to search value and you have to change it to color. I'll show you how to change it. For example, let's have a value patch. And when you click on value, you will see a small drop down here and you have to select color. And you can select whatever color you want. From here. This is handy to know because a lot of patches you might be getting errors because the data type you're feeding into the patch is not the same as the patch is expecting. For example, I created this patch known as transition, and currently it has XYZ and XYZ coordinates. Let's change it to vector 2. So it will have XY and XY. And now if I take the face mesh, for example, because that's the only 3D object we have here, and I make a patch for its position, it has XYZ. So now if I connect these two patches, there is an error because this position expects three values XYZ. So I have to change it to vector 3 so that there is no error. So you have to stay mindful about these things. You have to have the same data types on both sides of the patches. Okay, then there's the colors, there's the progress. The progress is patch is just like the loop animation and the animation patch I showed you. It can be used to drive animations. And then the vector 2, vector 3, and vector 4, like I showed, that if there are two values, then it's vector 2. XYZ, for example, would be vector 3, and the RGBA value would be vector 4. There's also matrices and textures. These are not very important currently for you. So those are all the types of data types. Yeah, so for more like in-depth knowledge of the data types, you can visit the documentation page. Okay, so now I guess we've been learning SparkAR for a long time, so it's time for a little break. So I'll hand it back to Ashika, and after the break, I will not teach you any more SparkAR. I will just give you the assignment and I will show you some basic things about the assignment so you can do it easily. So back to you, Ashika.
Thank you so much, Dipan. This was really awesome. Now we will just take a break of 15 minutes, as Dipan said, and after that we will have the assignment assigned to you all. But in the meantime, we have a bonus section on the journey of Bladers AR. I would therefore straightaway like to call the lead developer of Bladers, Sanchit Sharma, who is currently placed at All Star Games. So handing over to you, Sanchit.
So, hello, I guess yes, I am audible. So, hello everyone. This is Sanjay Sharma, lead developer of Bladers, and this is a big time, but I guess it is a nice time to have some knowledge about how real development works. So, why I am here? So basically, I am here to give you the real feeling of how a real how a real project or any real scale project works around in the industry, and how AR can leverage that and bring that thing to a next level. Also, how AR will guide and I guess will leverage any of the industry in the coming decade. So I'm here for all of that, and I guess I should begin with that. So to begin it, let me share my screen with you all. Okay. Okay, so this was showing me some tips, but I guess I'm not in a mood for any tips for now. Let me share my entire screen. Okay, so I guess the screen is visible. If not, the background team can tell me. But yes, I guess my screen is visible and I will proceed. So, yes, this is me, Sanjay Sharma, lead developers of Blader's Multiplayer, as you all know right now. And here are my accounts. Basically, if you want to connect or if you want to know anything, you can just ping me on Instagram, LinkedIn. And yes, I have a YouTube channel. You can just visit. This is a really long link, but you can just search Sanchit GNG. Sanchit GNG are my initials, and you can search with this with around, yes, almost on any platform. Yes, almost any platform except Snapchat. So yes. So let us proceed. Um, and start with what is Bladers. So Bladers Multiplayer is a game of which I'm a lead developer. It is a team project. It was and it is made by a team of 4 core lead developers, and it is a 1v1 multiplayer Beyblade game. And we released the version 1.0 in around the development took around 6 months, and we released it on 16th November 2020, last year during the pandemic lockdown. So, and then again, we didn't knew that basically we wanted to, but we didn't knew that it will be successful or not. So um, after it was well received, then we moved on towards making it the real Bladers that we wanted to. Because for the initial version, um, we were held down by many things. We were held down by the budget. We were held down by the time, specifically the time, and we were held down by many things. So we just quickly launched it, and then after it was well received, we took our time and released version 2.0 that again took around 5 to 6 months, and was released in around May 15th, 2021. And whatever version that you will see right now in the game is basically that version only, with minute tweaks, because we regularly release patches and bug fixes. So this is a live ops game, and if you are wondering what is actually a live ops game, so live ops game is a game or an application which is being maintained and patched live. So example, PUBG, example, I guess Candy Crush, no, any other game like that, which gets its update via DLCs, via cloud update. So all those, and the games that regularly maintained. So those all are called live ops game, basically live operations. So Bladers currently have more than 4.5 lakhs download on Play Store. Yes, it is on Play Store if it is not clear by now. And you can just go on Play Store, search Bladers, and you will probably get it on top. You can even search Beyblades, and you will probably get it on top 5. So this is what Bladers is. Uh, and before moving forward, let me just tell you that how we will proceed. So I will first, as you all don't know actually the Bladers, you haven't seen Bladers, and I really don't want you all to just go away and play Bladers right now, because just hold on, listen to me right now. I will show you what actually how it looks, and also I'm limited by time. So I will just quickly go on how a Bladers looks, and then we will talk about the bits that power up Bladers, and then we will talk about the leveraging of AR that I was talking in the beginning. So let us move forwards. So this is the basically the game flow. This is the one of the beginning screens that you get. You can sign in with players' accounts or Google Play Games. I will just quickly move forward because when you play game, you can experience this by yourself. This is the main menu. And it might have changed right now. No, it is the same right now. This is the latest screenshot. And this is the play with friends or random players. So basically, you can play out this game with your friends, or you can play this with random players. So if it is not clear right now, it is a 1v1 multiplayer game, just like in the childhood we used to play Beyblade. So it is a demonstration of that only. You can play it with your friends, defeat your friends if you can, and defeat the online players and play with online players, worldwide players. So this is the Beyblade selection scene. Basically, currently we have 5 Beyblades that are available. Sixth one is coming soon. Yes. So this is it. And when you select your Beyblade, you can upgrade it. There's a whole lot of upgrade cycle. You earn coins and you can use coins to upgrade it. So it is a complete loop, and you have to press the battle button to move on towards the final screen. That is. I have to say this, the arena screen. Basically, the matches gets played here. So what I have is this till now. And moving forward, if I move forward, there is just this one more screen. Let me just switch on. Yes. So there is this game flow screen too. So we have in-app purchases too, because now there was one question that I got in my Bladers Discord server. That the question was, why people like take charges for in-app purchasing, and why there are ads in the game. I really hate ads, and if I have to ever make a game in my life, I will never put a single ad in my game. So basically, he was a child, probably in 6th or 7th, and he really hated our the ads that that we have put in our game. Basically, we have reduced it now, and we also gave him the ad-free version. But the point was that why we put ads and why we put in-app purchases in our game is to fund our pockets, to fund the development of the game. How are we gonna upgrade the game? How are we gonna manage everything? The cost of the servers, the cost of everything that the game is incurring. Just for example, the cost of the people, the cost of the freelancing work. Even if I don't consider our core team to be taking any cost, then also we have server cost. We have cost of freelancers that we get from time to time, and we have way many different costs to run them. We have cost to run the ads for user acquisition. So there are many aspects. So if ever you think like that, there are no ads in the game, just think about the developers who developed that game with such a long amount of time. It's been a year and we are still into this game only. So moving forward, so it might look a simple game, but basically you haven't seen the game. So let us first go and see the game. So this was the trailer that was initially released last year. So this is that footage only. And let us see this. Okay, so basically this was the teaser that we released last year. And if I have to show you the gameplay, then this is the gameplay, just a quick snapshot of the gameplay. And this is the actual gameplay of how the game looks and feel to play. So yes, this is it. If you want, you can just, I just showed you because I needed to explain you some things. It is a simple game. It is just 1v1 multiplayer game. 5v5 is coming. But still, these are the services that power up the game. It is built on Unity game engine. Here it is. Uh, the cloud services are running via AWS, Amazon Web Services, and Unity Cloud Build. There are analytics tools being used. So there are a hell lot of things that are going on. And as I'm limited by time, I will just go through it quickly. How a single game is being run by all of these services. So this is basically Photon that we're using for multiplayer. So very first, it is made with Unity. Yes, it is not SparkAR or anything else. SparkAR can't make games. So Unity, and Unity has a lot of AR tools. Majority, all of the AR tools are available for Unity, and you can also make AR content with Unity. And this game is based on Unity, so it is easy for us to port it to AR than ever, because Unity is one of the best tools for AR. And asset creation tools, I will just quickly guide it. Blender, Figma, and Adobe, we have used this to create 3D models and for 2D assets. The servers we are using is Google Firebase and Photon Multiplayer. The Cicd Pipeline, all of you, I guess most of you might not have heard what is Cicd. It is continuous integration and continuous development. Okay, so there's nothing to worry about this. Basically, if you have heard about GitHub, so basically this is, you can say, some sort of GitHub only, plastic SCM that we use, and Unity Cloud Build to build our builds remotely. So moving forwards, we have our CDN network tools, that is content delivery network. So what is CDN? Basically, you're playing just PUBG and update without even updating on Play Store, the PUBG gets updated. You have new content and you haven't updated your game on the Play Store. You can download the content over the internet. So basically that is content delivery network. Without even updating the app, we can update the contents of the game. So for that, we use these three tools. That is Unity's own cloud content delivery, Amazon S3 and EC2, and of course, Firebase remote config. So, and monetization tools, because yes, I forgot to tell you that the game was made on a really small budget, because we were college students back then, and around, you can say, 15,000 rupees around was the max budget that we had, and it was all of our savings. So that was the max budget, and we advertised it. All of the development budget was that only, the advertisement budget was that only. And if anyhow you're thinking that is a good amount of budget, no, it is not. Just to gain like 60,000 downloads, you need to spend at least a lakh rupees on advertisement, then only you can gain that. So, and that is a really small amount. Around $1 million are spent on advertising of games and everything, to basically to acquire users. All of the fighting and everything is about acquiring more and more users. So analytics tools to get the insights of how the players are playing our game, and ASO tools. Basically, ASO is App Store Optimization. I will just show you that. ASO, our ASO is really good. Now, a lot about Bladers. Now, let me show you how I just told you about ASO. Okay, so let me just tell you that this is the listing of the Bladers. So what is ASO basically? If I just type Bladers, it comes on first. Now, Bladers is pretty unique. Let me just type Beyblade, and it comes on third, and all of the other applications are behind ours. So this is actually App Store optimization, that we have optimized our app much further than others. So it is really cool. Now let me just click on this one and show you the AR version that we had initially planned. Let's now move on to the AR thing, so you all will be able to understand what I was saying. Let me just quickly fast forward it. So this is where you saw. So basically, this is AR. This is a real location near my house where I went. I placed everything. This is in AR, and you can interact it with this one as if it were real. So basically, just that building is real, and this thing is not real. This is our game Blader. So this was the initial version that was planned for AR, and there are many more things that needs to be done. So still, the AR version is not live, but there are many things. Let me just show you the recent development into the AR. So this is also the AR version. So just like the Beyblades that we used to play in our childhood, we can play it in on AR. So this is a real road, and that Beyblade is not real. That is an augmented reality. So this is how it is being played. This is just a demonstration purpose. This video is still not public, and our game is still not public. But yes, just to show you the glimpse of how what are the capabilities of AR. This is a real floor. Okay, so yes. So I guess this is for this showcase. Now basically what AR will give us is it will expand our game into a next level of reality, or not sure, but I would replace that with engagement, next level of engagement, because the user can play the Beyblade game as if it would as it if it be a real Beyblade. So that really gives a leverage to us, and we can really make a most out of it. One more thing that I want to show you is yes, let me just show you the final thing uh, is basically the timeline, how everything went. And then there's one more thing that I will show you, a surprise. So basically, the team formation in July 2020 took place. We started beta testing with around 100 people. Everyone who is in the workshop right now was one of the beta testers of this game initially. And we started pre-registrations pretty early, 1st November, 15 days of pre-registrations. And then we launched on it around 16th November. We got a 1K download within around 3 days, and then 5K in around 10 days. And yes, we were releasing updates constantly, and then 10K in around a month, and then it went on and on. We released major updates, and currently we are at around 4.5 lakh downloads. Almost a 500,000 will get completed by next month. Now this is the thing that coming. What are the upcoming things that we will be releasing this the AR version on our Geo platform? So we have partnered with Geo. You all know Geo, but you don't know Tesseract. But you all will know Tesseract by the end of this year, because just wait for the RAL this year Reliance uh, conference, I should say, that helps. Let me just show you. I have with me Holo Board. Okay, so I guess I won't be sued by Geo for showing you this. So this is the basically Holo Board, and let me just show you this thing. Okay, so basically this is a controller, and this is a 3D OF controller. With this you can control the content around you. If you are talking about bladers, so with using this joystick you will control the Beyblade. And basically this is the headset, and this is a really big headset. um, what you're seeing on screen right now is the compact version of this one, which will get released around this year only, around Diwali. Yes. So we will release it. The AR version will probably release soon. And yes, and there are many upcoming things that we're going to do. iOS release 5v5 and many more things. But for today's session, I guess this was it. And I already took a lot of time than it was intended to. So okay, I guess this is it, and I will hand over back to Ishika.
Okay, so that was some interesting insights coming right from the lead developer himself. So for the Kitians out there, let me break it to you. Sanchit is from Kit only, currently in his final year of BTech degree. So thank you, Sanchit, for sharing such exquisite details about the game and the development process itself.
Yeah, thank you, Shagan. Just more thing. Let me break out one more thing to you. If you have failed to just see that Oshiga herself was one of the co-developers of Blader. So yes, that's fun also. That's also thing. So yes, that's it from my side, and see you all. Bye bye.
Thank you. So guys, the break is officially over. I would again like to call Dipayan to continue with the session on SparkAR. So off to you, Dipayan.
Thank you, Ashika. I'll share my screen. Just give me a second. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible. So I'll just go directly into the assignment for this week you have. just a second. You will get this zip file with all these things. Probably not these pictures, but all these four things in the description. And I have added some resources for you there for you to do some the assignment successfully. So basically what the assignment is that you have to create a filter where you need to teleport yourself to your 5 favorite places in India. Now it might look like a heavy word, like how do I teleport myself? It's nothing. You just have to make yourself disappear on the camera and reappear again. It's just a fade in fade out thing, and I will show you how to do it. And the second guideline is to, when you click on the screen, you slowly fade in and fade out. So that is the teleportation. And the third is that you have to apply something on the face. Those are the three guidelines. You can go wild with it. You can create whatever you want. So that's the assignment. I will show you. I will show you my take on that assignment because I made one for you. So some of this I added some things which you might not know right now because I have not taught some of the advanced things. So you don't need to have everything. Like for example, I added this UI, two options, one and two. If I have one, there's nothing on the person's head, and if I click two, there's a wanderlust picture on the top of the person's head. You don't need to go into that in your effect, but for anyone interested, it's known as the UI picker, native UI picker. But for the assignment, you don't need to have it in your assignment. So let me explain this so you know how to make your own assignment. So here we have the basic stuff, all the lights, and the main thing is in the canvas. So there's the user layer like we discussed in the background segmentation, and is a background layer. Now all these states, Goa, Rajasthan, Valley of Flowers, which is in Uttarakhand, Manali, and Jim Corbett. I'm sorry, I made Manali a child by mistake. Yeah, all these five are the background layers. So why do we have 5 background layers? Since the assignment says that you have to teleport yourself into your 5 favorite locations in India, so I put in 5 background layers. Now one thing to keep in mind is that all of these are not active at the same time. Only one of them is active at the same time. The objective of the effect is that when I tap on the screen, I'll show it to you. Yeah, one thing here, if you select on these 3 lines here, and you can you can select simulate touch, and then when you touch on the screen, it will simulate what happens when you actually tap on the screen. So when I tap on the screen, there's a smoke. This is the particle emitter. You don't have to worry about this either. You don't have to have smoke in your effect. So as you can see, the background changed. I will tap again, and the background changed again. So you don't need to have the smoke, but you need to have this, that when you tap, the background changes and the person, which is you, fades in and fades out. That's basically the assignment. So I will tell you how to do it. Now all these different backgrounds are loaded here as different background rectangles basically. So I have taken the visibility part of all of them. You can see that I have selected Goa right now, and the visible section, there is no check mark in the visible section because currently it is showing the value of flowers. Here you can see a small tick confirming that the picture is the value of flowers, but when you click on the screen, it will show you the value of flowers. So I will show you how to do it.
I guess there are some technical issues, so we will just wait for someone, wait for Dipan to join in again. I think he's having some net issues or something like that. So guys, in the meantime, if you have any questions out there, we will have being a Q&A session shortly. So please post your questions on the live chat. We will take up your questions after this.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My internet just there was a problem with my internet. I'll share my screen again. I will send you the file if you want, and I will also send you the pictures of the patches. I will show everything that I will be sending you guys. I will make sure that it's not confusing at all. Currently, I'm just explaining my thing, so don't get panicked or anything. Just a second. Share my entire screen. Alright, so I'll restart here. What this group of patches is doing is that when I tap on the screen, it goes to a counter. A counter is basically like a for loop. If you know programming, you know for loops. It's like a loop. So whenever a screen tap is received, it increases by one. So a plus plus one, one plus plus. And there you can have the jump to number and maximum count. This is basically the jump, how many numbers, like what number it will jump to the counter, and the maximum count, how many numbers there can be maximum. So this is the n value in a for loop. You have like if you know for loops, so I less than n. If you write a for loop, you mention I less than n at the end, which means that the maximum I can go in this range is the number n. So that here is this maximum count. Since we have 5 images, the maximum count is 5. And now these are the equals patches. So when the count is 0, it will be equal to this. I have the second number. Look at the second number. Don't look at the tolerance values, ignore the tolerance. Just look at the second number. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So when the value of the counter is equal to 0, Goa will be visible. When it is equal to 1, Rajasthan will be visible. When it is 2, value of flowers will be visible. When it is 3, Manali will be visible. When it is 4, Jim Corbett will be visible. Now the delay patch here is just it's what it is. It's a delay patch. It adds a delay of 2 seconds between the signals. So for example, why I have added the delay patch is because if you saw my effect, when I click it, after a delay the picture changes. It's not changing right when I'm clicking, because I need the smoke animation in my effect. So hence I added a delay of 2 seconds after the. So basically what is happening is after I click, after a delay of 2 seconds, the thing one of the background will vanish and the next one will appear. And for Goa there's an extra patch here. That is because since there is a delay of 2 seconds in Goa, if I just had it like this, let's forget this these patches, and if I had it like every other patch, what would happen is that when you open your effect, the background segmentation won't happen right away. It will also take 2 seconds because there's a delay. But here I have added a runtime less than and an or patch. An or patch is like the or in programming. Like or means that if either of these two conditions is true, whatever is connected to it will also be true. So what I have connected to the or patch apart from the delay is the runtime patch and the less than patch. The runtime patch, it basically, when you start the effect, it starts counting time in seconds. So currently you can see that 446, 47, the number, it is basically showing that these are the number of seconds the effect has been live. If I restart the effect, the runtime restarts from 0 and 1, 2, 3. So basically what I did is, since there is a delay of 2 seconds, I added a condition that if the runtime is less than 2 seconds, then also Goa will be visible. So this sorts the problem that Goa will be invisible for the first 2 seconds. This sorts that problem. If you don't need to remember these patches, I will send you a screenshot of this in the resources folder. If you have understood the logic, you can try to make it on your own. If you're facing any issues, you can copy it from the picture and then try to understand it. I would suggest not just to copy and submit. Copy it, sure, but you also have to understand why stuff is working, because these are the basic kinds of logics which you need in while making an effect. Now this is the second part for the fade in and fade out. You don't have to worry about this. This is for the emitter, and the emitter we don't need in the assignment. You also don't have to worry about this because this is the wanderlust text on the head of the person. You don't need this. This is the person fading in and fading out. I'll zoom in. So it is also connected to screen tap, like you can see. So when you tap the screen, it sends a signal to the animation patch to play the fade in and fade out animation. And after a delay of 4 seconds, why 4 seconds? I chose that the total everything, the fading in and fading out of the person has to happen in 4 seconds. It will look good, in my opinion, in 4 seconds. So after a delay of 4 seconds, the patch is reset. So that is what these two things mean. And when the animation patch is activated, it goes the progress, this one goes to a transition patch. Transition patch does nothing but it just changes a single value from the start value to the end value. Okay, so I have put the start value 0 and the end value 1.1. I will tell you why I have put these values in specific in a bit. And it is also going in another transition patch, but this time with a delay of 2 seconds. I will also tell you why I have done this. And after that it is going to multiply and it is then going to alpha of a mix patch. Now I will tell you why I have used the values I have used. In SparkAR, an alpha value of 0 means that you are completely visible. The texture is completely visible. Uh, think of the alpha value as invisibility. If it is 0%, the invisibility is 0%, the thing will be 100% visible. But if the invisibility is 100%, which is a value of 1, because you can set values between 0 to 1, then the thing will be completely invisible. I hope I'm not confusing you. But what I'm basically trying to say is 0 means 0 in the alpha value means that invisibility is 0, so thing is visible, and 1 in alpha value means that the invisibility is completely there, so the thing is completely invisible. Now I will explain why I have done this thing. So this is a transition patch which goes from 0 to 1.1, and this is a transition patch which goes from 1.1 to 0, so the opposite of it. And I am multiplying these values. So after multiplying these values, it will be between 0 and 1.1. And there is a delay of 2 seconds here, because you will see that when it let's say that the starting value of the first patch is 0, and when the starting value is 0, it doesn't matter what you multiply to it, the answer will be 0. So the texture will be completely visible. The texture we are changing here is my face or the person's face you are looking at. So that would be completely visible because the value, one of the values is 0. And at the end, when this transition patch reaches 0 and this one reaches 1.1, the total multiplication is still 0. So it is visible. So if you can understand, at the start and the end of this animation, the person is completely visible. And at the middle, at some point in the multiplication, the value will be exactly 1. So that will be the time when the person is invisible. So if you can understand that animation, that would be like the person is visible, they slowly go invisible, and then they slowly go visible again. So they fade out and they fade in. So that's what happens here. If you don't understand it, again, don't worry, I will send a screenshot of it. You can try to understand it there. You can go to the documentation and read the documentation, the description for every patch. If you know programming logic, if you have experience, I think you understood it. You probably understood it. But if you have any doubts, you can ask me in Discord. You have my number. You can ask me on my phone, or you can just go to the documentation. So that was the alpha value. This is the camera texture, is basically your face. So the RGBA value from the camera texture, the alpha value from our logic, and this is the user material of this lady's face. So what I will disable the emitter so you can see what's happening. The smoke won't cover it. So when I click, the person fades out slowly and they fade in. So this fade out happens in 2 seconds. The fade in happens in 2 seconds. The total thing happens in 4 seconds. When I click here, the multiplication value here, the alpha value here goes from 0 to 1 back to 0. So they are visible. Then in the middle, here it is 1, the alpha value. Here it is again 0. So that is the fade in, fade out logic. Also, let me tell you that this is my own logic. If you can think of a better logic for fade in and fade out, you are free to do that. As long as it works, you can do it. But this is my logic. In case you cannot think of any other logic or you would like to use my logic, I'm once again telling you, I will be giving you a screenshot of all these patches so you can just do it and try to understand it on your own. These are the two things which are important for the assignment. Someone was asking the deadline for the submission. The deadline technically is around 1 week after the final session ends. So let's say mid-November. I would suggest you to do it as soon as possible, because if you are a Kittian, which 95% of you are, your end semester exams will be there in the end of November. So you won't want to be making Instagram filters before your exams, right before your exams. So try to do it as soon as possible. Also, the sooner you do it, the sooner you get your swags. So yeah, so the deadline is, uh, let's assume like mid second week of November, and you have to do this. I will show you the resources I will provide. I have provided it. You can see in the description of this live video. There's a drive link. You have a zip file in that drive. These are the pictures I've provided. Here are some of the pictures from different parts of India from Unsplash. I have taken, like, you can use these pictures or you can also download. But these pictures are Creative Commons pictures, since they're from Unsplash, and they won't have any you won't have any copyright issues with these. You can use these. But if you want your own pictures and you can find your own pictures without copyright, please go ahead. These are the pictures of the logic, like I said, I would be providing. This is the logic for the background changing. This is the logic for the fade in and fade out. You can just refer to these. And this is the scene, how my scene panel looks like. Sorry. Okay. And here are some additional information. This is the, I have provided a link for the person segmentation in case you didn't get it in the class today. And all of this is in the description. And finally, before submitting the assignment, how you would, I have to tell you how you will submit the assignment, right? Because let's assume that you made everything and now you want to submit your assignment. What you have to do is go to this arrow option here, the up arrow, which says publish. You have to click on that. You have to select publish new effect. You have to check that your file size are less than 2 MB to improve reach. The limit is 4 MB to upload, but if it is less than 2 MB, it works on like most of the devices, so it's good to have less than 2 MB. My effect is less than 2 MB. If everything is green here and you are good to go, just click on upload. It will start uploading. You'll have to wait a minute or depending on your internet speed. My internet is a bit slow right now, but I'll tell you what happens next. Since I have already uploaded this effect, I will close this here, and something like this should open on your screen. See, it's called SparkAR. You can see that I already have a lot of effect. A lot of those say that your effect is no longer supported, but it's that is version 84, and I did not update it. So when you publish a new effect, it creates a new. Let me try to publish an empty file because I want to show you that screen which comes. Just be patient. It's my laptop and internet both are slow right now. Because it doesn't have an effect, but it will be faster to upload because it doesn't have anything. Okay, so yeah, so it's opening on Facebook SparkAR Hub. You should see the page that will be coming up soon. Here it is. Okay, so here, this is the page you will see. Here you put the name of your effect. Let's just call this empty. This is the name that people will see when they search for your effect. You will see what platform you want to push it on. All platforms. I have selected all platforms. All means Instagram and Facebook. There's is your effect public? Is your effect only through links? Like you will send the link to people and only they can see it. I have selected public. The owner is the person whose whose Facebook you are logged in with, and the platform is the platform where you are posting. So this is how it will look on my Instagram. You can select up to 4 categories. Let's select random categories, but don't select random categories when you are actually making a effect. Go through these and select the ones you feel are the most connected to your effect. And you can select keywords here. I'll put XoRphilic. I'll put my own name. These are just examples. Generally, you would use keywords like hashtags. So keywords are, if you search Dipayan, you would see this effect. So you would put keywords here. Okay, and also when you submit your effect, please try to put the keywords XoRphilic and SparkAR kit, so it is easy for us to find your effects on Instagram. And here you have to upload. You have to take a video, a test video, and upload it here. So how do you take the video? So you have to save this. Once it's saved, it's taking a little time, but once it's saved, you will get this test on device. Okay, there's an error, but I'll tell you anyway. Once it is saved, this test on device option will become active, and you can get a link from here of your effect, and you can send yourself that link, and when you click on that link, you can access that filter on your Instagram or Facebook camera. So you have to take a small video of your filter and upload it here. And if you want to put a thumbnail or an icon, you can put it here, and you have to select the publication date as soon as possible, and you have to click submit. Now Instagram takes, like here it is written, effects will be reviewed within 5 days. They usually take between 2 to 5 days to review your effects, so make sure not to do this at the last moment, because Instagram will take time to review your effects. So try to finish everything with by November first week, so that you can submit it. And after this is done, this is the SparkAR hub. Here you can see the effect I was showing you. I named it Wanderlust India. You can see it here in the effects. Just a second. Yeah, I will show only the visible effects. There are 2 effects visible on my account right now. So this I made just a couple days ago, so it doesn't have much impressions right now. And you can see that it's visible, it's accepted by SparkAR, and all these stats, it's available on both platforms. This is the owner. And these are the things I want your to bring your attention towards, because this is the form you will be submitting your assignment in. And here it asks for the SparkAR effect link and the SparkAR effect ID. You will find these here. This is the effect ID. This is the preview link. You need to copy the preview link and upload it in the SparkAR effect link. You need to copy the effect ID and paste it in the effect ID. Upload your SparkAR effect here, the screenshot, and fill in all the other details, and you will be good to go. So this is you have this in the description as well. You have this the link for this form in the description, and that will be all. You will be able to submit your assignment. If you have any doubts, we will be having 10 minutes of Q&A because we have a lot of time. We It's just 6:20. We will be letting you go early, but if you have any question and answers, we will be having a small Q&A session here, and for any questions I cannot take, I will be answering them on Discord. And once again, I'll stop my screen sharing. And once again, you can check the description. You have the files there, you have the links there. If you have any doubts, please, this is, I guess, Oishika, this is officially, I'm done with the assignment. So let's start with the Q&A session.
Yeah, so again, thank you, Dipayan. I'm so sure after this session, with some little practicing and some documentations, we would be able to create filters as easily as we can click with one. So as you said, we're running ahead of time. We can have a quick Q&A session for the next 10 minutes. So guys, please post your questions on the live chat. Dipayan can have them. So Dipan, in the meantime, you can answer the questions asked by Gunjan. She
Okay.
was having some troubling with the face tracker.
Okay,
The exact comment. Yeah,
I'll have
yeah,
to look at first you highlighted this comment by Sovic Day. Let's look at that
yeah.
first. Having semester exams, replaying the whole session will be a lot of, so it could be great to get a guide. Okay, so yeah, like I said, that you can download the files for the patches. I think you just need the guide for the patches because everything else was simple. If you the effect just had the most important things were the patches and the background segmentation. In the zip file which you get, there is a link for the background segmentation. It's a 3-minute video, I think. It's a small video, so you can watch that for a refresher on the background segmentation if you don't want to watch this entire video again. Or if you want to watch what I said in the video, you can just skip forward to the background segmentation part. You have both the options. So there's a short video included for background segmentation, and the patches I have included the pictures. So those are the important things you need for that effect. You don't see. Okay, Gunjan has replied that it is okay now. So I guess she sorted it out herself.
Yeah. So can you again say what is the deadline of the assignment? We have that again. I think there's again some issues with the internet. Okay, so guys, just hold on for some moment. I think he will just be back in a minute or two. So you can just post all your questions in the live chat if you're having any problems regarding anything, assignments or whatsoever
Yeah,
doubts.
I'm extremely sorry I disconnected again. Actually,
Yeah.
it's really rainy right now in Delhi, so where I am, so it's the internet is having a little bit trouble. So okay, so the deadline I was telling about, it's second Sunday of November. I guess it's the 14th of November. The last session is 7th November. So you should have made the effect by 7th November because you need at least 5 days. You have to keep 5 days for Instagram to review your effect. I'm
Yeah.
unable to install SparkAR on my PC. Which version of SparkAR should I install? It depends on the specs of your PC. Is your PC Does your PC meet the minimum specs for SparkAR? I'll have to Google it. I don't know the minimum specs required. If it's the laptop provided by Kit, it should meet the specs. Uh, I will get back to you on Discord. Please tag me on Discord and remind me of the question. My tag is ZEPH on Discord.
I think I would like to bring this question to myself. I think the minimum requirement for SparkAR is Windows 10. I think
Okay.
someone answered it in the Q&A live chat itself.
Okay, so
So
then you'll have to upgrade to Windows 10 if you
yeah,
want to,
Windows 10
or you
itself.
can, if you have a Mac, you can use it on Mac OS as well.
Yeah. So any more question, guys?
Any questions regarding the assignment? Also, if you want to connect with me, I have put my Instagram ID in my the bracket of my name. You don't need to connect with me as a Spark AR coach. I am also a fourth year student in KIT, computer science and systems engineering. So if you want to connect with me just as like as a junior, you want some guidance uh, for college life if you are a first, second, or third year student. So you can just connect with me. I'll be happy to help you out. Do we have to do all three questions in one effect or separately? You have to do it all in one effect. It's not three questions, it's more like three guidelines. So if you bring it down more, it's like two guidelines. You have to have five backgrounds of five places in India, and you have to have the fade in and fade out. That's the only two things that need to happen. And another thing, you don't need to make like if it's if you're facing some troubles to find the logic and you are really not able to make the effect for some reason, just upload your attempt. As long as you can upload it to SparkAir, just upload that so that we can see that you have participated and so that we can make you eligible for the certificate. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be accepted by Instagram. Where is Insta ID? My Insta ID, it's, I guess it's visible right next to my name. It, I will tell you, it's, I will probably post a comment. Or Ashika, if you can post a comment.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Meanwhile, I'll look at the next out. I used a high poly model for plane tracking and image tracking for Vuforia and Unity AR Foundation. Is there any decimeter like thing or tools to make 3D model to fit in as 4 MB file in Spark? Yes, there is in Blender. So, for those of you who know me, you know that I am more of a 3D guy than a augmented reality guy. Even though I'm very much experienced with SparkAir, I'm much more experienced with Blender. So in Blender, there are these things known as modifiers. So you can apply modifiers to your 3D models. There is a modifier known as decimeter or decimate. So when you apply that modifier, you can select how much you want to decimate your model, and it will reduce the poly counts. So if it's a very high poly model, I would suggest you to open it in Blender and just apply the decimate modifier and tweak it there. If you decimate it too much, it will lose its shape. So you have to find the sweet spot. Okay, so my Insta ID, I guess it's visible. It's @zephyrus.cg. A better place to connect than Instagram would be LinkedIn because it is more professional. So you can find me. It's my name, Dipayan Chaudhary. Let me edit my name in. That's my name. Look for Dipayan Chaudhary and you will find me on LinkedIn. And the number you found on the Google form while registering, that was my number as well. So you can also text me on WhatsApp. On that case, which is the best file format for SparkAR? FPX should work. OBJ should also work. Let me check once in SparkAR. Okay, so I checked. You can use FBX models. You can use OBJ models. You can have GLTF format. GLTF is a good format because it also has the textures. You can have the Collada or DAE format, and those other formats. You can find all these informations in the SparkAR documentation, by the way. But yeah, and in 2D assets, you can have PNGs, JPEGs, and SVGs. Audio, for audio, you can have mono M4A AAC codec and with a sampling frequency of 44.1 kilohertz. For those of you who know about audio design, I don't know much about it. I just use the free. There's a lot of free audio. I think there's around 1,000 free audio files in the asset library, which I showed in SparkAR. You can just add in there. You won't have to worry about copyright. If there are no other questions right now, I guess we can wrap this up, and we please submit your assignments as soon as possible so we can confirm your participation. And if you have any doubts or any issues regarding SparkAR or regarding university life in general, you can ask in the Discord. Try to keep the SparkAR doubts in Discord. For non-SparkAR doubts, you can contact me personally. They are large. Go for, yeah, Lakshay, that's right. GLB and GLTF are the best formats for SparkAR, I would say. I use GLB or GLTF. But FBX and OBJ is also possible if you don't have an option.
Okay, so I guess that was all. So we can quickly wrap it up for today. Okay,
Okay.
guys. So
Okay, sure.
okay, so that was all for today's session. But wait, the journey isn't over yet. We have our next session on the coming Sunday, that is on 31st October. The timing will be 5 to 7 p.m. So this is Oishika signing off with Picture Have Baki Hai Mere Dost. Hope to see you all again on next Sunday at 5 p.m. Bye bye.